What's up everybody, it's Subaru WRX fan here for another review. I can't do it. Sorry Matt, I really like you, it's just the internet likes trolling. Well, hello everyone, I'm not Matt Marin, I'm Andy from REVlogue, and today I wanted to discuss the leaked timeline from Subaru and potentially the new STI that's coming. So right off the bat, I must admit I'm kind of a Subaru fan. I've owned a BRZ, as many of you know, and also my first car was actually a 2003 WRX. That car survived all of my high school 6,000 RPM clutch dumps. So someone told me to launch your car as if you just stepped on dog, and somehow that allowed all four wheels to spin immediately, not causing any drivetrain shocks, and maybe that's how I've survived my high school years of abuse. Actually, I drove the car down almost to the ground, 200,000 miles before I traded in for the new BRZ. So for those of you that's keeping count, STI won. STI versus the Evo battle, if you will. Evo launched the final edition and now it's no longer. Actually, Mitsubishi in general is going through a lot of tough times. God, whoever is the marketer that named the SUV or the CUV thing an Eclipse Cross or whatever that thing is called, it just goes to show that they just ran out of ideas to stay relevant in the business. But even the Subaru guys know that the Evo actually drives better. You didn't hear that from me. Now you could probably tell how old I am, and judging by the fact that I've had a WRX since my high school years, I mean, the EJ engine in that car is just now basically a dinosaur. Apparently Subaru is working on some direct injection versions of the 1.5 and the 1.8 liter turbo boxer 4s. So maybe we could get something like that down the line. But what's really exciting is recently in Japan there was a launch of the Levorg STI, and again, this one's not the full-blown STI, it's just a STI sport version, so a lot of the aesthetic mods, light tune if you will. But I think a lot of automotive journalists are interested in this car because it really it might give you some hints as to what the next STI could be all about. Boy, I would hate to be that person that leaked that timeline from Subaru. Someone have to take that off from their Twitter or something like that. Don't want to get in trouble. Now the rumor has it that the next STI could come with the FA24 turbo. Potentially, I think we're looking at 400 horsepower. But I don't know if many of you would agree. I think the weakness in the Subaru lineup is not necessarily the motor. Yes, I did say that the EJ is a dinosaur of an engine, and it had its fair share of issues, head gaskets, and also piston rings. But I feel like what's really isolating potential buyers from STIs is that there's really not a good automatic option, even in their regular lineup. It's all CVTs. I mean, credit to Subaru that they kept their heritage true to the symmetrical all-wheel drive. Obviously it has its benefits, but if you look at the competitors, a lot of their competition has really advanced their all-wheel drive systems. I know now Mercedes-Benz with their 4MATIC Plus, you can send 100% of the torque to the rear wheels for drift mode, and Audi's Quattro systems have been getting really smart also with their Ultra system, disengaging the rear axles for better fuel economy. Obviously Subaru doesn't have a whole bunch of money to throw around developing a full new all-wheel drive system, so I can understand why they stuck with a symmetric all-wheel drive system and then just having to elect CVTs for better fuel economy. But the reality is, even when I drove the M2 competition, I was just blown away by the everyday drivability and how technically wife-friendly the car is. Because even if it's a manual car, there was this anti-stall feature where all you have to do is let off the clutch and the car will kind of drive itself. The M cars also have a very good DCT option as well. And even its biggest rival, or past rival, Evo in an MR format also offered a DCT option. I don't want to kill a manual option, like apparently the people like us that drive manuals were now, I think, less than 1% or something like this. For the first time, more EVs have been sold than cars with manual transmissions. So wrap that around your head. We're definitely a very small niche market. So for the success, or for the continued success of STI, you know, obviously they like to cater to the people like us that drive manuals, but I really think they need to, you know, focus on getting a really good automatic transmission. Even the Veloster N in Korea, they've already launched a DCT version of that car. I mean, while Subaru was sleeping, you know, with their CVT transmissions, Hyundai and Kia went and developed their own wet sump 8-speed double clutch gearbox. You know, for a tech giant like a Subaru or STI, I would expect something, you know, more advanced to be coming out. I understand that Subaru or Fuji Heavy Industries, you know, after being bought out by Toyota, or 20% share or whatever the controlling share is, you know, they've been really focusing on more of a mainstream car. In terms of sales, I know they're just making a killing with the Foresters and all of the SUV lineups. But as enthusiasts, I think what we want to see from Subaru is not, you know, the cookie cutter cars, as much as, you know, it helps their sales. We really want to see a very cool STI. And even in terms of the design, you know, I don't usually like judging design before I get to see them in person. But I just think all the newer stuff looks so busy. But even this Levorg, I think I don't know, there's just a lot of jagged lines, a lot of really busy surfacing, and I just, in proportions, like the headlights maybe just look a little too narrow, you know, making the car, maybe they just want to emphasize the grille quite a bit, but, you know, it makes the car look really narrow because the headlights are so, you know, tiny. They kind of remind me of like little crab legs, and they do it on their taillights too. Now, of course, if you're a car enthusiast, you've heard that BMW is launching their new M3 with a wagon platform. And, you know, this is also one of those things that Subaru enthusiasts really moaned about when they got rid of the wagon platform and the new chassis. When they switched from the GD chassis to the GR chassis, I mean, it was probably arguably the most comfortable WRX I've ever been in, you know, due to the structure changing from all four McPherson struts to the rear end getting double wishbone-like multi-link setup in the back. I don't understand, like, a hatchback is such a winning formula. I mean, I get that it adds cost to, you know, bring both to the States, but I don't know. I mean, now that Toyota has so much control of Subaru, you know, they're not gonna go out and do all these emotionally chosen directions. They use logic now. You know, Toyota is kind of the brain of the automotive world. And I think Clarkson said Alfa Romeo is the face or something like that. Some beautiful face. But obviously Toyota also getting ready to introduce a GR Corolla. Maybe they're not gonna want to cannibalize the sales of the GR Corolla by also having an STI hatchback. Despite the two of them being in two different price brackets, you know, you still want to kind of vary your products across the portfolio. So what do you think about the new potential STI coming? What should this STI be equipped with for you to consider a purchase? Also, who do you think is the real winner between the STI and the Evo battle? Who's the real competitors to the STI nowadays? I don't even know. Anyhow, thanks for checking out the video, and let's continue the conversation in the comments down below. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you.